عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما صليت على آل إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما باركت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. الحمد لله رب العالمين that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitated for us this session or this gathering, an additional one on Sundays, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, to get ourselves busy with something that is useful, something that is beneficial, and something that we will have as a preparation for the coming of the month of Ramadan. This is here a small booklet titled Zadus Sa'im, the provision for the fasting person, أحكام ومسائل, rulings, issues, adab وفضائل, etiquettes and excellences. And the author is Dr. Fakhruddin Ibn Zubair Al-Mahsi. This is a scholar, a contemporary scholar. He's originally from Sudan, and nowadays he is a teacher in Mecca, Al-Qura. So we will go through the book that he compiled. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve him and reward him for authoring this and making us busy with something that is going to be inshallah useful for us. He starts after praising Allah and saying salat and salam on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his companions and those who follow him. He says that the time still continues to go on. The time, days continue to elapse, days and nights, alternating night and day, morning and evening. In this there is a reminder, a true reminder for people who have insight, ulil absar. It is a lesson and admonishment to those who have intelligence, those who have minds, those who have those who take lessons from the days that pass. And he quotes the ayah from the Quran, Surah Al-Furqan 62, وَهُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارَ خِلْفَةً لِمَنْ أَرَادَ أَنْ يَذَّكَّرَ أَوْ أَرَادَ شُكُورًا. He, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the one who made night and day succeed one another, alternate, so that it will be, he made them like this in succession for the one who wants to remember, or the one who wants to offer thanks, to be showing gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those days and nights, they shouldn't be just passing like that. When the morning comes, then the evening, then the morning, then the evening. This change of condition, change of states during the day, it should bring some reminder, should bring some admonishment, should be a lesson, but only for those who have insight, those who have intellect and intelligence, those who see things for what they are. He said, الأعمار تقضى والأيام تطوى. Lifespans are spent and they are finished, and the days they fold or unfold, right? They go and they pass, they elapse, and every day that passes brings you closer to your appointed time, al-ajal. Every day that passes, then you are getting closer to the end. You are getting closer to your end. But then most of the people are somewhat in an intoxication, and they are deceived by long and extended hopes. And he puts he quotes, or he actually takes words from a famous line of poetry that says, يا من بدنياه اشتغل, O one who got so busy with his worldly life, with his worldly affairs. يا من بدنياه اشتغل وغره طول الأمل. He was deceived by long extended hopes. Every day that passes, you hope to live more and achieve more and do more and accumulate more and amass more. يا من بدنياه اشتغل وغره طول الأمل. O one who got so much busy with his worldly affairs, and he was deceived by long extended hopes. الموت يأتي بغتة والقبر صندوق العمل. Death comes all of a sudden, and the grave is the box that has the deeds enclosed in it. الموت يأتي بغتة والقبر صندوق العمل. يا من بدنياه اشتغل. O one who got so busy with his worldly life, worldly affairs. وغره طول الأمل. He was deceived by hopes and hopes and hopes. الموت يأتي بغتة. Death comes suddenly. والقبر صندوق العمل. The grave is the box where the deeds are put in or are enclosed in it. He quotes the ayah from the Quran, Surah Al Imran, ayah number 30, which says, يوم تجد كل نفس ما عملت من خير محضرا. On a day, that day, the day of judgment, on which every soul, every person shall see or shall find, تجد, shall find what it has done of good brought up. The good deeds will be brought up. You find it there on the day of judgment. Also, وَمَا عَمِلَتْ مِنْ سُوءٍ. That person, he will find the good deeds, and he will find also what he or she, what it has done, what that soul has done of evil. مِنْ سُوءٍ. تود لو أن بينها وبينه أمدا بعيدا. Wishing that between it, the soul, and those evil deeds, that there is between them so much far of a distance. Allah then says, وَيُحَذِّرُكُمُ اللَّهُ نَفْسَهُ وَيُحَذِّرُكُمُ اللَّهُ نَفْسَهُ وَاللَّهُ رَؤُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. And Allah warns you Himself. Allah warns you Himself, about Himself, that is, about Himself, that He is severe in punishment, subhanahu wa ta'ala, although the ayah ends, وَاللَّهُ رَؤُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. And Allah is gentle, so gentle towards the servants. So the pious person will be happy when the day when he meets his Lord, and the wretched, sad, evil person will be having all kinds of pity, all kinds of sadness and sorrow on that day when he would see what his own hands have earned and have presented. And Allah says, أن تقول نفس يا حسرة على ما فرطت في جنب الله. That day that a soul would say, oh, pity for me, how pitiful I am for what I have, for what I have neglected, for falling short in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in what He commanded and what He ordered subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here we are now going to meet a great season, a season that is great, noble, and blessed, and that is the month of Ramadan, this excellent month that has a high status in Islam, has a lot of rewards involved in it, and every year we are awaiting the month of Ramadan, waiting with nostalgia, being nostalgic, longing to have this month come so that it will cover us with its bounties and excellences and so that we will get from the generosity that is involved in this month. And then every year we start, and then so fast we find it ending and passing away and going away. Right? As a matter of fact, I know this is very fast. So I'm thinking now, after the month of Ramadan finishes, what we are going to do on Saturdays. I was looking at some booklets and some things, because I know it's just going to be like that, and then we are again back to normal routine. It is as if it is like an image. It comes and then it goes. A shade shades you and then goes away from you, and it will give farewell. It will give farewell to people who maybe they will not face another Ramadan. They will not see another Ramadan, right? The Ramadan will finish, or maybe within the month of Ramadan, then they will not see anything until the Day of Judgment, until Yawm ad-Din. So those who were with us in this masjid, they were praying with us, and they spent few Ramadans with us, and then they are gone, and they're not with us anymore. They are facing whatever they have presented of the deeds. Either they are enjoying or they are being punished. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on them and on all Muslims and us too. There are others, after the month of Ramadan comes and finishes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will extend their lives, give them more time, and this time that they will have, they will be having more responsibility actually. They will be having more responsibility for that extra time, extra life span that they will live. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَرَأَيْتَ إِن مَتَّعْنَاهُمْ سِنِينَ. Tell me, if we make them enjoy for years, يعني we make them live and we make them enjoy. ثُمَّ جَاءَهُمْ مَا كَانُوا يُوعَدُونَ. Then there comes to them that which they used to be promised. مَا أَغْنَى عَنْهُمْ مَا كَانُوا يُمَتَّعُونَ. These enjoyments that they used to enjoy, it will not avail them anything. It will not help them in any way. Right? You live and you enjoy, but if the time comes and you are finished and your lifespan comes to an end, then this enjoyment that you used to have, it will not help you anymore. أَفَرَأَيْتَ إِن مَتَّعْنَاهُمْ سِنِينَ. Tell me, if we make them enjoy for years, ثُمَّ جَاءَهُمْ مَا كَانُوا يُوعَدُونَ. Then there comes to them that which they used to be promised. مَا أَغْنَى عَنْهُمْ مَا كَانُوا يُمَتَّعُونَ. It will not avail them anything, that which they used to enjoy. So Ramadan, these are from Surah Ash-Shu'ara 205 to 207. So Ramadan is the month of Quran, the month of the obedience to Ar-Rahman. It is the month of staying away from disobedience. It is the month of humiliating the shaitan. It is the month of achieving ghufran, forgiveness, and it is the month of being set free and saved from the fire, min al-niran. And the Sheikh mentions two lines of poetry, and he himself, he makes lines of poetry himself. He says, Ramadanu ya khayra ash-shuhuri tahiyatan. O Ramadan, O best of the months, we salute you, we greet you. تضفي عليك من الجلال جلالا. We give you a greeting that will add to the greatness that you already have. خذها يفوح عبيرها من مؤمن يبغي لك التعظيم والإجلال. Take this greeting, take this salutation from a salutation that the beautiful scent of it is fragrant, A greeting from a believer. A greeting from a believer who wants for you all kinds of greatness, all kinds of respect and regard. The Sheikh then talks about the positions of the different people towards this month, the month of Ramadan. And people have different positions. They go different roads, different routes. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and this is really a great ayah in the Quran, وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَى وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا تَجَلَّى وَمَا خَلَقَ الذَّكَرَ وَالْأُنثَى إِنَّ سَعْيَكُمْ لَشَتَّى. Surely your work, your labor, things that you do, shatta is so many things, so much varied, so much different. And one goes this way, the other goes that way, this route, that route. The people, when they leave in the morning, everyone is about to do something. And some of them so busy they don't even look. They don't even look. Everyone is so much focused on what they want to do. The other day I was watching someone crossing and another one just turned right and hit him. You know, he had his headphones in there and just walking. And the other one, an old lady, she couldn't see anything. She just turned. Everyone is going and everyone is doing what they are about to do. Inna sa'yakum lashatta. This ayah reminds you of the many different things that the people do. Everybody yas'a works or works hard, labors, right? And these different things that the people do in their daily life, work and job and, business, so much varied, so much different from one person to the other. People are towards Ramadan like that. Some of them, they take it to be an act of worship that is like almost severed, cut off from religion and from the heart. It's just something that they do naturally, normal routine. Every year they just fast those days, begins, ends, and that's it. We're done with it. They are not really sensing and feeling that this is an act of worship. There are those who will have the month of Ramadan like a station to basically comfort and console and cool themselves, to change the daily routine of life, right? Routine sometimes is like when it is repeated and becomes redundant, you get somehow fed up of it. So they want a change. They want a change, right? So the month of Ramadan is a month of change. They change their lives somehow, right? With different things that they do. Amongst them are those who will have the month of Ramadan like a pause to revive, to renew their iman. They take it as a station where they will stop and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then after the month finishes, they undo what they have done, right? They tie knots, and then at the end of Ramadan they untie those knots. It's as if they haven't done anything. Amongst them are those who don't know from Ramadan except that it is a month where you leave food and drink. As for sins and disobediences, then they won't stop that. They do them before Ramadan, in Ramadan, after Ramadan. It's just the cycle is going on. Amongst them are those who don't know from fasting and Ramadan except preparing the big feasts. The big feasts and, joining the crowds in the marketplaces and spending and overspending, as if the month of Ramadan is a month of food and not a month of fasting. Amongst them are those who will have the day pass in sleeping, and the night they spend in amusement and play, whatever kinds of corruption that they do. They do not feel the sweetness of fasting. They do not have within their hearts, they don't call to mind the issue of night prayer and spending the night praying to Allah. And the worst amongst those people are those who are, when Ramadan comes, they start being, offended. They start getting offended. They don't like the month to come. That is because it will restrict them. It will cut down from their evil. It will not let them or allow them go out of control as they want to do. And therefore, those people, they spend their lives just enjoying, and on the day of judgment, waliyadu billah, they will be completely in a state of pity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ذَرْهُمْ يَأْكُلُوا وَيَتَمَتَّعُوا, let them eat and enjoy. وَيُلْهِهِمُ الْأَمَلِ, and let hopes, false hopes, busy them away. فَسَوْفَ يَعْلَمُونَ, so surely they will know. Surah Al-Hijr, ayah number 3. The Sheikh said that the worst of those, of the people, are those who are not, the ones before them. They are people of evil. They want to commit evil themselves. That's why they don't want the month to come. But those people who are even worse than them, he said, they are plotting all kinds of plotting, night and day, in preparation for Ramadan, to corrupt the fasting of the fasting people. So they are not only corrupt within themselves, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, they are working hard, laboring hard to corrupt the others. Whatever kinds of advertisements, whatever kinds of things that they put on TV, as if, the Sheikh said, as if they are saying, if the Satans of the jinn are chained, then their allies of the humans, then they will take their place fully. They will do their job fully. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-An'am, ayah 112, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَا لِكُلِّ نَبِيٍّ عَدُوًّا. Like this, we have made for every prophet an enemy. شَيَاطِينَ الْإِنسِ وَالْجِنِّ. And an enemy that is from the Satans of humans and jinn. There is a human shaitan and there is a jinni shaitan. The shaitan is the one who is going against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, going against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whether it's a human or whether it is a jinni, يوحي بعضهم إلى بعض زخرف القول غرورا. They inspire one another. They inspire one another the adorned speech. Right? The speech of the shaitan, humans or jinni, they inspire one another. They teach one another. Right? They inspire one another. To a point that maybe a human shaitan might surpass the jinni. As the line of poetry, it says, Imam al-Qayyim, you have heard it from him before. He said that the state of the one person like this, the human shaitan, it says, وَكُنْتُ امْرَأً مِنْ جُنْدِ إِبْلِيسِ. I used to be a person from the soldiers of Iblis. فَارْتَقَى بِيَ الْحَالُ حَتَّى صَارَ إِبْلِيسُ مِنْ جُنْدِ. My status got elevated to a point that the shaitan became a soldier of mine. Right? To a point that I have seen once in one of the cartoons, they put, those cartoonists, sometimes they are, imaginative. They put one shaitan and a human, a well-known person, one of the tyrants, and the tyrant is whispering in the ear of the shaitan, and the shaitan is turning to him saying, ittaqillah, what is this? A'udhu billah, ittaqillah. Right? I have been a human, a person from this poetry says, from the soldiers of Satan. My situation, my status got elevated to a point that the shaitan became one of my soldiers. Walayadhu billah. Walayadhu billah. As for the believers, then they are the ones who know the greatness of the month of Ramadan. They sense and feel the nobility, the bliss and bounty that Allah has put in it. They busy their day with recitation of the Quran and mentioning and remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They spend their night in night prayer, seeking forgiveness at the time of Sahar, pre-dawn, hoping for the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Ghaffar, the oft forgiving, so that they will be from those whom He will set free from the fire. Now, he says that there are so many ideas, so many things that cross my mind about Ramadan, right? And in a way, he said, I wanted to participate. Although there are so many things, so many thoughts that cross my mind regarding Ramadan, I wanted to participate in that which is good, in goodness, during this month. So I summarized the rulings, the issues, the etiquettes, and admonishments and excellences pertaining to fasting. And I did in this book, he says, in a way that I summarized, I make an abridgment, I summarize the rulings, mentioning the strong position along with its proof or the reason behind choosing that position, benefiting from the books that the early scholars have authored and the contemporary scholars have authored, and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help and reward. And we say Ameen, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help him always and reward him always, and us too. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to benefit us from what we hear and to make us from people who listen to a statement and follow the best of it. He starts by mentioning the meaning of fasting. The linguistic meaning of fasting is mutlaqul imsak, is to withhold yourself, to stop yourself from something. Generally, to stop, to cease, to withhold yourself, to withhold yourself. This is the meaning of fasting linguistically, as-siyam. And in the Quran, Surah Maryam 26, إِنِّي نَذَرْتُ لِلرَّحْمَنِ صَوْمًا فَلَنْ أُكَلِّمَ الْيَوْمَ إِنْسِيًّا. Right? إِنِّي, I surely vowed, لِلرَّحْمَن, to the most merciful, صَوْمًا, fasting. فَلَنْ أُكَلِّمَ, so then I will not speak. الْيَوْمَ, today, إِنْسِيًّا, any human. Right? This is fasting, but fasting by what? By not talking. Yani withholding oneself from speaking. That's the meaning here. So, as-siyam, sama, yasumu, sawman, right? Sawm, linguistic meaning, to withhold yourself, to stop, restrain yourself from something, right? That's the general linguistic meaning. And the meaning of the shara', the legal meaning of fasting is at-ta'abbudu lillah, worshipping Allah, bil-imsaki anil mufattirat, worshipping Allah by withholding yourself from mufattirat, from things that will break the fasting, min tulu' al-fajr as-sadiq, from the breaking of the true dawn up until sunset. Right? Once again, the meaning, the legal meaning of fasting is to withhold yourself from things that will nullify your fasting, from things that will break your fast from the start of the true dawn up until sunset. This is the legal meaning of fasting, and inshallah things that will break the fast, he will mention them later on. Fitr or iftar, right? Fitr or iftar is breaking the fast, right? You have Sawm, you have Fitr, right? Sawm and Fitr. The Eid is called Eid al-Fitr, right? Eid al-Fitr. So Fitr is breaking the fast, right? Mufattir, so if you have someone to break the fast, fattara, man fattara sa'iman, as the hadith will come, the one who gives a fasting person or have a person break his fast, yani sponsors his iftar or gives him something to feeds a fasting person, give him food at the time of breaking the fast. Fattara, to make someone break fast, right? And in this sense here in the hadith, is to offer him food to break fast. Fattarahu, right? So fattara yufattiru. And mufattir is that which makes you break the fast. So let's say eating is mufattir, breaks the fast. Drinking is mufattir, breaks the fast, right? So withhold yourself, imsak, from mufattirat. Mufattir is one thing that breaks the fast. Mufattirat is the plural now, and it is جمع مؤنث سالم, right? طيب. The meaning of Ramadan, معنى رمضان هو في اللغة مشتق من الرمض, he says, and this means, it is derived from the word ramad, and this is, ramad is the extreme heat, shiddat al-har. And there is one hadith that says, Salatul awwabin hina tarmadul fisal. The prayer of those who return to Allah a lot. The prayer of those who return to Allah a lot, awwabin, is when the fisal is the plural of fasil. This is the baby camel. When the baby camels feel the heat of the sun on their hoofs, right? Tarmad Ramadan. Tarmadul fisal, these baby camels become so hot to a point that the earth is hot. So with their hoofs on the ground, they feel the heat. So they raise up their feet, they raise up their legs, their hoofs, right? So Ramadan comes from Ramd, and that is the extreme, or Ramad, and that is the extreme heat. This prayer is being referred to here is what? Salatul Awwabin. Which salah is that? Salat ad-Duha. There is another salah that they call Salatul Awwabin. The hadith is not authentic, right? The hadith of that salah is not authentic. Salatul Awwabin is referring to Salat ad-Duha. Duha is roughly, we say, 10 minutes after sunrise. You start praying it 10 minutes after sunrise, up until roughly, we say, 10 minutes. Actually, should be even 5 minutes or even 3 minutes before the time of Dhuhr, right? You can pray Salat al-Duha in between 10 minutes after sunrise and roughly, let's say, 10 minutes before the timing of Salat al-Dhuhr. Yani these days Salat al-Dhuhr is about 1:15, let's say. So you should stop praying around 1:10 if you want to be on the safer side. You can go up to 1:05, 10 minutes. If it is 1:15, 10 minutes is 1:05. 5 minutes is 1:10, right? So this 5 minute or 10 minute time, just before Dhuhr, Salah is disliked then. Salah is disliked. Right? So Duha, you can pray it 10 minutes after sunrise, up to shortly before the time of Dhuhr, 5 or 10 minutes before Dhuhr. It is 2 or 4 or 6 or 8, or you can even pray more if you wish. The best timing for it is the time when it is so hot. Yani these days, Dhuhr is 1:15, so if you pray at 12, 12:30, 12:45, that's the time when the sun will be the most extreme, yani the weather will be so hot. That is the best time. This is what the hadith is referring to here. Salatul Awwabin, the prayer of those who return to Allah a lot. Right? Turn to Him in awe, turn to Him in worship a lot. Right? Is that time when the baby camels feel the extreme heat of the sun. Right? To a point that their hoofs, because they are baby camels, they cannot take the extreme heat of the sun when it heats up the ground. That is the best time for Salat al-Duha. But then you can pray in between. Salat al-Duha has a lot of excellences. And we mentioned this many times before. There is the hadith that if you pray Salat al-Fajr fi jama'ah, in congregation, right? Salat al-Fajr in congregation. Then you sit in your place and mention Allah and remember Him until sunrise. Right? Then you pray Salat al-Duha, yani 2 rak'at after 10 minutes after sunrise. Then it will be like the reward of what? Umrah, only Umrah and Hajj. Hajjah and Umrah. Hajjah and Umrah. Right? Hajjah and Umrah. And Rasulullah ﷺ said 3 times, Tamma, complete. Tamma, complete. Tamma, complete. Right? And some of us, as many times people do think, you say, how could this be? Well, try it and see. Try it and see. Try it and see if you are man enough, I say. Man enough to do that. Pray Salat al-Fajr fi Jama'ah and sit until sunrise. And 10 minutes after sunrise and pray these 2 rak'at. Right? This is for the people who are really hard workers. It's not for lazy. Right? That's why it goes days and nights. They go pass by. How many fajrs? I'm the first one who's guilty. One time we do it, one time we don't. Sometimes weeks pass without us doing that. Sometimes we have excuses. Sometimes we might not have excuses. Just But then this is the reward for it. And it says fi jama'ah. It doesn't mention the masjid. So if you live in a building and the masjid is far away from you, you have a musalla in that building, or you have other people that get together and pray in one of the apartments, do that even in that apartment or that musalla, and inshallah you will get the reward. And for women who should not be going in or do not need to go in congregational prayer, actually their prayer at home is better for them. The late Sheikh Ibn Baz, rahimahullah, may Allah have mercy on him, he says, even for women who are not supposed to go to the masjid, if they pray even by themselves at home and they sit in their place and mention and remember Allah up until sunrise, 10 minutes after sunrise, and they pray the 2 rak'at of duha, they will get the same reward. Right? They will get the same reward. Do you know any woman who does that? Maybe they don't know. We need to spread the news, right? So this reward is there, is great reward فعلا, يعني truly is a big reward, but then is a big reward for not a small action, especially those who want it to be a continuous habit of theirs. Also, another hadith says that if Ibn Adam, O son of Adam, pray for me 4 in the beginning of the day, I will suffice you the end of it. Right? So this, the scholars, they say it refers to Salat al-Duha also. Yani, imagine yourself praying in the masjid or in a congregational prayer elsewhere. Then you sit and remember Allah until sunrise. You pray 2 rak'at. You achieve the reward of a Hajjah and Umrah. Also, you achieve the general reward of Salat al-Duha, which is in another hadith, which says that the human being has 360 joints or bones in his body, and he is supposed to offer a voluntary sadaqah for every joint or bone. So you command good is 1 sadaqah, forbid evil is 1 sadaqah, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, each one of them is 1 sadaqah, right? You help someone is sadaqah. What suffices you from all of those is 2 rak'at that you pray in the duha, right? So by praying 2 rak'at of duha, you will get 360 sadaqah, which is the daily sadaqah that you are supposed to offer for each joint or bone in your body. That's if you pray 2 rak'at. If you pray 4 now, if you pray 4, then you will get that, these 2 rewards, Hajjah and Umrah, if you prayed in congregation and sat. And you will get the 360 sadaqah, and then the 2 more rak'at becomes 4. You get sufficiency till the end of the day. Allah will suffice you, will provide you with sufficiency till the end of the day. So this is just about Salat al-Duha. And Ramadan is coming. Maybe it will be one of our regular habits if we didn't pray Salat al-Duha. Yani even if you pray at home, right? And then you need to go back to sleep right after, you do not want to sit until sunrise and like that. You have to wake up to go to work at 9 maybe. You wake up at 8, you get yourself ready to go to work, pray 2 rak'at and leave. If you pray 2 rak'at, 360 good deeds that will cover the daily sadaqah you are supposed to offer on each bone or joint in your body, right? And in the hadith, that if you offer 1 sadaqah for every joint of your body, yani what's the significance? It says that you push away yourself from the fire. زحزح نفسه عن النار. If you do that on a daily basis, every day you are giving a sadaqah, doing a sadaqah for the 360 joints. The evening won't come until you have already pushed yourself away from the fire, right? So this is the significance of ad-duha. Now if you pray it in the time when the sun is extremely hot, right, then you will get that reward, and it is Salatul Awwabin too. You are someone who returns to Allah a lot. So if they give you lunch break 12 to 1, there is a time to use 5 minutes for 2 rak'at of duha, right? That's the time for it now. It's just matching 12 to 1. Winter time 12 is already Salatul Dhuhr. Is not suitable. But these days it is suitable for that. Salatul Awwabin hina tarmadul fisal. This is just basically because we mentioned Salatul Awwabin, we sidetracked to Salatul Duha. But it is an important subject that we have to keep reminding ourselves with it and the rewards of it. And this is how the scholars, they say, you need to remind yourself always with the excellences, because you start doing it and then this zeal and enthusiasm fades away. So you need to revive that zeal and enthusiasm again. How do you do that? You do it by reading those ahadith again and reminding yourself and others with them, right? طيب. So Ramadan then is called Ramadan. It is derived from Ramad, which is the extreme heat. They said because it was legislated the month of Ramadan when it was, hot, or Ramadan is a hot time, so it was called Ramadan, right? طيب. As for the hadith which says, I don't know if some of you heard it, right? لا تقولوا رمضان, do not say Ramadan. فإن رمضان اسم من أسماء الله. That Ramadan is one of the names of Allah, right? Then this is not an authentic hadith. This is a weak narration. So Ramadan is not one of the names of Allah. I don't know, for some reason, many people I hear them say Sidi Ramadan. I don't know, it's just maybe because of that, I don't know. But Sayyidi meaning my master. I don't know if they took it from this or for another reason or out of respect, I don't know. But then that hadith which says that Ramadan is one of the names of Allah, then it is not authentic. The next thing is Fadl al-Siyam. I think we will stop here. We have 20 minutes. We give you a chance for discussion, inshallah. We will continue. We have, before the month of Ramadan starts, we have 3 Sundays including this one, right? So we have two more Sundays, inshallah. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala extends our lives, then we'll be back next Sunday between Maghrib and Isha, continuing with the Sheikh, this book, inshallah. And if I find that it's not a big book, but if I find that we are not going to complete it, then I will try to cut down some of the information so we can have a complete picture about the month before it starts. Again, I remind you that the reason why I thought of starting this is that the scholars, they say that it's always best to get ready for Ramadan before it comes. And there are narrations that they mention that the pious predecessors, they used to get ready for Ramadan 6 months before it starts. And then Ramadan finishes, another 6 months preparing for, right? They are always waiting for this month to come. And it was mentioned before that some of them said that the month of Rajab is the month of sowing the seeds, planting. The month of Sha'ban is the month of watering and irrigating those plants and seeds. The month of Ramadan is the month of harvest. That's where you pick the fruits, right? I thought of also using the book by Al-Hafiz ibn Rajab, Lata'if al-Ma'arif. It contains a lot of wonderful materials, but then it's long and he goes into many details. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will facilitate for us to do that book over the whole year, because that book, the idea of it is the excellences of the months throughout the year, right? So it goes throughout the years, throughout the whole year, mentioning the issues and narrations and ahadith and reports from the pious predecessors, Sahaba and Tabi'een, and other than them later scholars. Anything about the months, it's mentioned. So those months like Rajab and Sha'ban and Ramadan, Shawwal, Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah, and Muharram, you have a lot of details about them. Other months, not much being said about them, when they don't have much, that is said. Then he puts a section on the seasons, right? And what you should do, like winter time, summer time, and like this. So it's a wonderful book, but is a big book. And if we use the abridgment of it, much of the good stuff is going to be cut down. Right? So I'd rather do the original one, but then that will take time and will need us to spend more time together. Maybe once a week over the year until maybe we finish it in 2 years, maybe. Allahu A'lam. Because it's a big book, right? But the information contained in there is very nice. I hope that someone maybe will translate it into English, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت